Hi everyone, Happy New Year. It's Keith in the bee yard. The bees are out. It's got a little bit mild. It's I don't know what day it is, I think it's the 29th. And the bees are out today because it's mild. It's been cloudy here and wet and humid, and then at night it's been cold. So wet and cold, horrible. So I'm hoping this weather that we've had for the last week or so, we're going to now clear up and see some sun. So I came out yesterday to do a oxalic acid treatment because it was ideal, because it was very still, there was no wind, and the bees had broke cluster. They broke cluster and they was just peeking out a little bit. So I have got a Gas Vap. So anybody that's not familiar with the Gas Vap, it is this little gadget here, and called a Gas Vap. You don't get the blowtorch with it, and basically you use a butane gas torch with a 22mm nozzle. This just pushes on. There's an inner chamber in there, there's no holes, that's an inner chamber, and then the flames just go in, heat up this inner chamber and vaporize. It vaporizes oxalic acid, and I'm using Bioxal. And you get this little sort of measuring scoop with it, and then also it's like an unblocking tool as well if the nozzle becomes blocked, which mine hasn't, but now I've got it stuck. So that's what I was using. However, right, I made a mistake yesterday. So yesterday I've got one of the kitchen butane torches, and the nozzle was bigger, and I pushed it onto this. It managed to get on, but the flame wasn't aggressive enough, unfortunately. So I went on Amazon and I got, after a lot of research, I found this model by Sondico, and it was £29.99, not the cheapest, but I love the style of it. It's all this like brushed gunmetal type look to it, and tell you what, it's absolutely bloody marvellous. It's got a really good weight to it. You can tell it's quality, it's going to last, it looks good. And if I just show you, it's waterproof, so it works in the rain. It's also meant to be windproof as well, so that's a win-win. And the temperature of this one, it's got a piezo ignition. It can go up to a maximum temperature of that, so it's a bit more pressure, it's a bit more runs hotter quicker as well. So if I show you this, so you turn the nozzle, turn on the piezo, and look at that for a flame. It's got really good control. But look at it on maximum. My other one probably does that. That's probably what I was getting out of it yesterday, the kitchen one. But watch this, if I put this on maximum. That's on maximum now. That's brilliant. It's a really good flame, and the good thing about it, you can put it whichever way you want. There's no spitting, spluttering. Absolutely brilliant. And for a 30-second use with the Gas Vap and other tools, like maybe lighting a fire or a barbecue and all that sort of stuff, I think it's worth the investment, because this one that I got for I think $14.99, and you screw it on there. But anyone that knows about these butane propane mixers, these bottles, you tip them upside down and they won't run, because the liquid runs and it just starts spluttering everywhere. And also, as soon as you stop the air on these nozzles at the end here, they stop working, because it mixes with the messes the gas air ratio up. But this one doesn't. It's got a proper injector in there. Now this is a 22mm nozzle, but because I messed about with the end of this gas vap yesterday, this actually is now a bit bigger because I heated this up really aggressively, and because it's copper I made this slightly bigger by forcing about a 23mm nozzle, chamfered nozzle, into it. So this now actually is technically too big, but if I put that on and then tighten up the screw underneath just loosely, and I'll just come outside again, turn it on, there we go. And now you use this, you get your, I'm not going to waste any gas. And it's really heavy as well, really heavy, really good metal, so it just stands up. With the gas vap you get a couple of these caps. You use your measuring device wherever I've put it now. Here's the measuring cup, here it is. So I think it's 1 scoop Bioxal. You put it in the cap ready, and then heat this up, get some warmth going through it so the copper's hot, and then you need some leather gloves. And then what you would do is you would hold this upside down like that, you would put that on, sorry I've not got, you'd put that on there, and then you'd get a pair of gloves, make sure that is on, and then you would tip it up like that, put it in the hole and tap the cap end to make sure all the Bioxal is in there, and then it should, hopefully, because it's got the temperature right, it should vaporize quite quickly into a plume. Leave it going into the eye for 30 seconds and that's it, the treatment's done. Now the mistake I made yesterday, I was just testing it to see if I needed a different blow lamp, and I did. One, my holes at the hive's not big enough, so I come round this side and I decided to try it here like that, and I made the mistake that ultimately that is underneath the Varroa mesh, the mesh bottom of the hive. So, but ultimately my lamp didn't produce, even though the Bioxal vanished, I didn't get a good, you know, plume of oxalic acid for 20-30 seconds. It just burnt off. So yeah, so that was a bit of a failure really, hence why I thought, right, let me have a look on the internet, let me look at the Gas Vap, their website. They sell a blow lamps, different one to this. So they sell them as well, but like I said, I got on Amazon and got it on next day delivery, and I think this is going to do it. Now I'm going to put, well, what I've done since, I've now got a hole drilled into the bottom portion of the HydeHive, and I'm going to plug it with a wooden golf tee, because they'll just plug it up anyway. And to look at that from this side, can you see it at the bottom, the hole? Let me get my other tee out and you'll see it. So there's the hole on this side. So obviously if I've got a colony here, this will be my brood, where the main winter, when they're broodless, they will be here, the brood will be there and the brood will be there. Hence I've only got one hole on each, because this will be where my honey supers are, and obviously you don't want to treat your honey supers. So that's that. So that gives you some idea of where it will be popping through. And obviously when you're doing your treatment, you would heat it up, pop that in there, and then that would obviously come through there. That would, you can see the Varroa mesh. I'm hoping that because of that meshed bottom, the actual oxalic acid, most of it won't go out, at the bottom. I'm hoping obviously there's enough of a plume that it still fills this and fills that void and gets them going. So let me take that out, put my tea in there. I did this one first just as a bit of a look to see what aim I needed. So I'm going to put all this back together now. That's that. I'm loving this Apipasta as well. I've moved on to the fondant I've changed to now is the fondant with vitamins. And I've noticed the bees are looking, I don't know whether it's a new, you know, the winter bee, the brood is set out a new brood, but they look more vibrant, like a little bit of, a bit like a oily sheen to them. They just look really healthy. So they are taking this 1 kilo down, and once that's done I've got another one and another one, and then once they've took that down I'll get back onto the normal Apipasta fondant, and then that will then turn into the syrup I've got, and then that will obviously then hopefully get them all built up and strong and ready for the flow. Taking the dead one out. So now the weather has gone a little bit mild, they are out and about doing their thing, whereas yesterday there wasn't. So at the minute, even though they have broke cluster, it's ideal for them because they're all moving around frantically, because what the oxalic acid is, it gives them a coating like a dusting. Is this summer? And they start moving about and shaking it all off, and then and then obviously the mites drop off and die. And obviously at this time of year, the brood, if there's a brood at all, it should be very small, if no brood at all. So that's why is the time to treat, because the mites, they travel on the back of and on bees, but they actually reproduce in the cells, in the brood cells where the warmth and the food is, and then once it's capped, they're inside this, the mite is inside with the pupaing honeybee, and then obviously it hatches out when it's already multiplied, and it's, you know, and then it's away, and that's how then it obviously gets on the back of another bee, flies out to another hive, gets in that hive, and that's how it reproduces. And then that mite, then once these go and do their work into a cell, the mite knows it's going to get what the time is in the bee cycle, reproduction cycle. When it gets in that cell, eats the food, it buries itself underneath the developing pupae, so it's warm and it's got a good food store. So even though it's the right time, it's kind of not in a way, because I've got a lot of bees out and about flying. So you want all the bees to be in, because obviously the more bees that get the oxalic treatment on them, the more bees that's going to be treated, and the more mites you've got potentially to get hold of. So for example, if most of the bees were out foraging or going for a pee and all, you know, doing the business like probably what Lee's are, going out, cleansing their bodies and having a cleansing flight, well, I'll do a treatment, but those bees no doubt will have mites on them, so they just come back and then the cycle just continues. So what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to come back and wait until they've all resettled back in. I will plug the hole up, get the oxalic acid treatment on this hive going, and I will hopefully show you a bit of that as I'm doing it in a bit. Like I say, the Gas Vap wasn't very successful yesterday. You do need PPE with this as well. I've got a full face mask and leather gloves and stuff, so I will be putting them on in a little bit, because this does irritate your lungs. It's not good, not nice stuff, oxalic, it's an acid. So you need your full PPE, full respirator, goggles in case it splashes back in your eyes, all that sort of. Mine's a full face one anyway, so I don't need goggles. And as you can see, all the bees are out and about, or a lot of them, all the foragers. They're taking advantage of this mild weather and a little bit of sun, a little bit of warmth. So once they're back in, I'll do a 30-second treatment and hopefully catch it on the next clip. Hi everybody, it's Keith here. I'm at the HydeHive today and it's been a lovely day. It's the 29th of December and what I'm doing, I'm going to show you how to use the Gas Vap. Not professional or anything like that. This is my second time of using it. I had a play about with it yesterday. I got a different blow lamp which I've shown you on the video before, and hopefully I'm hoping this time it will go well. All the bees are in. It's been a lovely day, 29th of December. The sun has been out, a lovely sunset there in the distance, and the bees have been out, they've been foraging, they've been doing cleansing flights, so it's took them longer to get back. I've put some heather in at the bottom and I will show that probably at the end. And one thing I need to say with oxalic acid, you are best to use a registered treatment like Bioxal. You want gloves. These will just be leather gloves because I want to deal with the heat with this Gas Vap. And what you will need, before I flip you around, is a full face respirator, and this is one for organic vapours. So you do need one with organic vapours because the oxalic, it is an acid, so it is not a very nice chemical to breathe in for the lungs. So this is a full face for protects your eyes and your lungs, and it's obviously filters the air that you're breathing in. I'm not getting any other special clothes on, I've just got gloves so my face and eyes are protected. So I'm going to just check the hive. I'm going to flip you around now, and therefore you'll see me at the front end. I don't know how much you'll see, so I'm just going to crack on and probably not talk as much. There's a bee trying to get in, which is annoying, so I'm just going to pull out I've blocked the entrance hole up, so I'm just going to wait for that to go in. I've got my gloves on. I'll start putting the respirator on. I've got the oxalic acid in the cap ready to go in once this is warmed up. The bee's gone in now, so oh no, it hasn't, it's just there. So I'll put my respirator on and then hope get this adjusted, and then hope all ready and crack on. Should only take about a minute or two, and hopefully I'm going to pull this off. I've got this on at the minute just to keep the daylight out, because it just gets the bees going a bit. I didn't want them coming out. So the bees going in now, get a respirator on, crack on. So I'll keep quiet, enjoy it. I think I'm about ready now. Take the golf ball out when I'm ready. Golf the tee out. So what is a success is the fact that I've managed to get a good plume off the oxalic acid. Now I must have got to them because they are not as much as I wanted to. I thought I'd see a big plume inside the hive. Now there is a mesh bottom on these, so a lot did come out of the bottom, as you saw. The other thing which I'm a little bit peeved about is there's a burn mark on the side because it got very hot. Definitely worked because I can hear the bees. Hope you can pick that up. They really are revved up. They are going absolutely crackers. Now I don't quite know how to get round the bottom of these. I could, I suppose, stuff something into the bottom because this is what I'm up against. It's a mesh bottom, so but I can really hear their bees. So there's no denying they are really revved up. They're really got it on them now. Can you hear them? I just wanted to see a big plume of smoke full in here. So I'm not really sure what effect that will have, but they are really revved up now, really revved up. Look like what it's doing is it's almost getting them to the actual effect of the acid is obviously forcing them to clean themselves, I would imagine, by the looks of it, because they are really going round. And if I can get a close-up, but it wasn't the effect I wanted to see because it's not a closed hive. So it's got me thinking that obviously if it was coming out, it was coming out of here. I could see that on the video. Therefore, how can I close this up because it's fully open? So I suppose what I could do is take this out and then get something like this, or stick something, you know, get underneath and stick some plastic or some sheet of some sort, polystyrene, and get it and just wedge it in so there's no gap. So the next treatment I will do that and see if that's more effective. Either way, it's had some effect because the way they're behaving. So we'll have a look at the bottom board. Whoa, I cleaned this beforehand and already there is a good number of mites on there. I can see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, one under there, 11. So, and that is in the space of, well, it was, I swept that before I did the treatment. So let's see that, see what they do, see what they come up with. I've got to say, blow lamp works a treat for this. It really does. And thanks for watching. First proper oxalic acid treatment done. That should have cooled down a bit now. Yep, and it's all gone, look. it's all vaporized, so I can't dispute that. Fully gone. I think, like I say, a lot of it came out here, so I would probably imagine that was probably only half effective, if that. I think they've just got some of it up there and it's affected them. So I'm going to sort of discount that, and in a week or so I'm going to spend some time and block the bottom up, and I will give them another one and see how that goes on the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.